Thanks so much for joining us for another edition of our open mic program. We do have Congressman French Hill with us. And Congressman, Happy New Year, since this is the first broadcast for the new year.
Bob, it's great to be with you. Happy New Year. And I hope we have a great 2021 without all the negative impacts of COVID. I hope we get it behind us this year. I'm praying for it.
Well, the beginning of the new proposed rules package, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi has proposed eliminating references to gender and establishing an Office of Diversity and Inclusion in the House. But what was really strange when I heard that, that's something it seemed like you hear a lot. But the congressman ended the opening prayer his first day of Congress by saying amen and a woman, which everyone knows that amen is Latin for so be it. Now, I'm telling you, us Southern folks understand that. I mean, I've never, ever thought this is talking about a man or men or whatever. Well, then they went on Twitter, which I thought was funny, that it might have been the president's son said, a woman, a man, and a priest walk into a bar, making a joke of it. And then a woman came up and said on the same Twitter feed, it says, how will churches decide the difference which are hymns and which are hers? Hymns, of course, is H-Y-M-N.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. It is kind of funny. You got to admit, this is a little funny. I mean, I never heard. Did you laugh when you heard this?
Yeah, well, it's ridiculous. And to make it even worse, the member of Congress who was delivering the prayer that day, who's a member from Kansas City, is a former pastor. So, I mean, that made it even worse and more tragic as far as I was concerned. But look, Nancy Pelosi has lost her big margin in the House. She has a much more narrow margin. It's going to get narrower because 3 of her members are leaving to go to work for the Biden administration. So her House rules package, she chokes off debate. She takes away the minority, the Republicans' only ability to amend a bill before it passes the House. That final amendment. It's a major motion. It allows us to make a major point about what we agree or disagree with in the bill. She's taken that away from us, and she's adopted this absurd gender provision in the House rules where you can't use the word, not only you can't say chairman, you can't say congressman, you can't say mother, father, brother, sister, he, she. I mean, it's madness. Here we are in the middle of a pandemic. We're trying to get our country back to work. We're trying to get our country healthy again. And this is what they come up with to emphasize in the rules to govern the People's House of Representatives.
Kind of funny. Now, we might get some emails. It's bob@kffb.com. I have no problem with people emailing me a man and a woman because I haven't talked to anybody that thinks why we're doing this. It's just, it's politicizing a prayer. It's really shameful, really. I mean, this is a very serious time in our country. We got people dying. The epidemic is going crazy, and we can't talk about mama and grandma and mom and dad, and it doesn't make sense. It's just literally why are we talking about it? I mean,
yeah, why are we spending time in this radio interview or on the House floor bogging down in this kind of progressive, good feeling of the moment talk from Speaker Pelosi?
I looked at this and I thought, how in the world? So you were there. What does that? I know there's Democrats that thinks it's crazy too. I mean, there has even been a Democrat. The lady, I can't remember who it was, just recently talked about trying to get where women are women that are in sports because men that become women are dominating sports, and that's not what it's meant to be. I mean, this is something that's really crazy. I mean, it's hard to talk about these things, but that's not right. That's not fair. We're going down a really weird road, but I would never thought it got to the House like this. Do you? I mean, does it surprise you?
Well, yeah, it surprises me because I'm up here to work for Arkansas and work for a better country, get an economy that's working, get the health of our people restored. That's what I'm here to work on. And I don't have a lot of patience for spending time on this sort of political correctness run amok by bogging down a House rules package over making a rule that governs how we use gender in our work. It drives me nuts. I mean, last Congress, they tried to move in the committees that when they swore in a witness, they were trying to remove God from the oath when you were swearing somebody in. We got that reversed. Again, it's just political correctness run amok, Bob. That's the only way I can think about it.
Well, looking on the positive side, what do you think you're going to see in this new Congress? Because these things they seem like they get the craziness out early. And maybe this is just crazy stuff, but to me, I mean, I'm just thinking we got to slow down here a little bit. There's much more important things to talk about. And we got to keep our identity.
Well, Nancy Pelosi's House Democrat conference has shrunk. We did very well in the November elections. We won a lot of new seats. Her margin's going to be down below 10 seats. No House incumbent lost their election this year, no matter where their district was, a Trump district or a Hillary Clinton district. They won. So we have a more narrow House majority, and I think that's why she's pushing so hard to limit our voice in the House and set up these rules, because the far left will just not have any power to move their crazy agenda that they campaigned on last fall, like defunding the police, the Green New Deal, raising taxes on business, raising taxes on families, and some of these really provocative things like the government taking over private health care coverage.
Well, then that's something we can look at for the future. I mean, we see that there's going to be some checks. That's already been in the pipeline, and many Arkansans should be receiving that, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah, the COVID-19 package was signed into law by President Trump. I wish he'd moved faster, but he got it signed into law. And so small businesses will be eligible to get a second paycheck protection loan to keep their workers employed as the pandemic, as we see, shows no sign of lightening up in Arkansas or anywhere else in the country, unfortunately, until we get this vaccine widely spread across our state, across our nation. Tax rebate checks will go out during January under the same basis. If you got one electronically back in May, you'll get one electronically here in January. And there's also rental assistance, which is new, that could help someone who is near homelessness and has poor income or has been laid off from being evicted. This is an additional benefit that was in that COVID-19 relief package.
And if anyone has any questions, they can contact your office, especially about the rental assistance, because there could be some that need some help. You guys can help with that as well.
Absolutely. hill.house.gov is how they can connect with us. The easiest, just send us an email or go to the website and call our office in Conway or Little Rock. We're here to help. We're still helping people, frankly, from the original CARES Act support from April, May, and June this year. So that's what we're here for.
Well, Congressman, we appreciate you taking time and keeping us up to date here on KFFB's Open Mic.
Thanks, Bob. Great to be with you. Happy New Year.